My name is Nick Pettit. I work for Lincoln College. There's so many different ways, and people tell me, about applying for a job. But most, the way that I see it is that you'll see a job advert, or you'll go for a job advert, and you will see the advert itself. You'll click on a link, and it goes into the description of the job and the roles and responsibilities. It's at that point there where you want to start making notes, and you need to write down all the roles and responsibilities, and you need to relate that into your CV. If you think that you can send the same CV out to different employees with maybe a slight different job role, you can't. Even if it's the same job role, people expect different things. For instance, a project manager at Carter's does a totally different job to a project manager that used to work at Simon's. And that is now, I've got project managers that are in the college, all they do is with IT. And yet I've got a project manager that builds all the big buildings. So CV, job description, the roles and responsibilities, match your CV to them. If you're applying online, it seems to be a lot easier. At my present role, I go through job applications all the time. And I get very frustrated when people say to me, oh, I'll explain more in interview. The trouble is, there's 50, 60 people applying for that job. You can only take 5 for interview. And if you write down, oh, please, I'll explain it when I come to interview, you're not going to get to interview. You've got to put it right on that job application. You get more room on an online job application as well, so that you can really, really go in depth, add personality, be nice, express yourself, and we'll come on to that later. But definitely go through every line item on that online application and put something down, even if it's working towards. I'm a team player. I like working as an individual. It's got to be on that online application, because if it's not, you won't get through to interview. And that really is a time to start. If it's a job that you really want to go to, you've got to research the company, even when you're doing the job application. See what the values and standards are of that company. Put your values and standards next to theirs. See how they align. Give examples. Always give real life examples. Be personable. Use expressive words. If you love reading or you love painting, say it. Don't just say my hobby is reading, because there's no life in that, and it's just like reading. It's just like reading everybody else's. You've got to be able to express yourself online as well as you have face to face. When at this time as well, I always look at the company as well, and you look at the HR people, and you can sort of gauge who's going to interview you. It'll be the head of that whatever sector you're going to. It'll be the HR manager. I do spend a bit of time research it, and I've got 4 boys. The youngest one is 19 next week, and so they've been in and out of the awful situation with COVID. 2 of them got made redundant, and they've had to reapply for jobs. Luckily, they've stayed in the construction industry, all 4. But it's not been easy. But that's how detailed I've had to instruct them to go into researching the company, find out who works there, see if there's any commonalities, see if you know someone, understand about the people. That's the best time to start. But obviously, some of the rules do apply, and you should use again when you're preparing for interview. The best sellers in the world: practice, 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 and practice again. You need to practice. You need to look in a mirror. You need to ask your friends, what do I look like when I'm talking? Can you tell me that I'm doing that's annoying? Am I fidgeting? Am I looking around the room? Have I got my hands in my pockets? Am I tapping my feet? It's when you're going to interview, most interviews they have the same questions. There'll be about 10 questions, but 8 of them will always be the same. So get on Google, research the questions. Always at the end of an interview, they will have questions. It's your time to shine there. Ask them, where do you see me in the next 5 years? If I'm prepared to give your company everything, and go above and beyond everybody else. What are you prepared to do for me? Before I even go to the interview, and I've done an online interview as as the person, as the applicant and the interviewer, and I would not go to either unless I'm wearing a tie and a shirt. And this is a dress down day, so I'm not wearing my jacket. My jacket's hung up. But normally, if I'm going for a job interview, I'd wear a jacket. People say where you're applying for and where you've got the interview, dress one up or dress one down. But for me, it doesn't it doesn't matter. It's how I feel, and because I'm slightly older than most, I prefer me being professional. I prefer my shoes have to be immaculately clean, and my clothes have to be ironed, and I have to be wearing a tie, and then I feel comfortable. It's not just about me making an impression; it's about me feeling comfortable. I say this to everyone, and perhaps I've left it a bit late, but if I was going to summarise everything, there's only one first impression. Remember that. You only get one chance for a first impression. Don't buffoon it. Practice. That first impression is what you're going to leave with that interviewer, as well as all the other little bits and pieces that I've thrown in about being personable, about using expressive words, about really showing your character, how you work, how you want to behave, your values. Please, thank you for taking the time to interview me. If I could have feedback, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. But first impression, that first impression is so important. Don't come on, you're not on the screen. Come on, you're sat right, you are ready, you are prepared, you're confident to sell yourself. You are the best thing since sliced bread. First impression is everything. Yeah, these times are awful. And I sit in front of children. I work in a few local training providers, and I see the kids and the desperation. But, my son, one of them, Matthew, number 3, he was a site manager, but now he works as a labourer. So it's a big step down for him at a young age. And so he found it very, very difficult, from being the guy that told the labourers what to do and all the subcontractors to now reverting back to the bottom of the food chain. But he's had to do it through necessity. But while he's working, he's learning, excuse me, he's learning about life. He's learning about how people manage. So he's getting life experience. If you can get life experience, there is no better experience. If you get the chance to go and work with adults, take it, because you'll see the best in people, you'll see the worst in people. And it's your opportunity then to take the bits that you want to take and don't listen to the bits that you don't. So any opportunity, even if it's free, even if it's voluntary, spend some time with some adults. Try and work, not so much with your mum and dad, because, I think that all I do is annoy my children. When I try to give them advice, it's not always well received. And yet my best friend can give my children advice, the same words, and they're like that. Oh, thank you very much. I suppose it's like school teachers. School teachers can never be right because they're in a position of authority. However, when you go from a teaching environment to life experience working for people, it's totally different. You've got to behave. You've got to be on time. You've got to be dressed smart. You've got to be nice to people. Remember, always be nice to people. It doesn't matter if they're at the top or the bottom. Be nice. If you're a nice person, you'll go a long way in this world. The other thing is that don't give up. I tried to tell you there, most job applications that we put online, we get maybe 100 to 500 applicants. You've got to be in that top 5. Think about what are you going to write on that bit of paper that makes you that top 5 person? Start thinking about it now, but never give up. Don't give up on applying for jobs. Get off the couch, go and walk along the street, have a look. This is within government guidelines, obviously, but go along, knock on building sites, go on to sites, go on to people that you say working. Can I work for you for a week? You won't even have to pay me. Go and do something for someone for a week, but if they say yes, it's your opportunity to get your personality, your work ethic, your values and standards into that person's brains, and he might, just might, give you an opportunity. Because at the end of the day, all you need is an opportunity. The rest, if you want it, you can take it, but it's getting that first opportunity. Never give up on an application. Never give up contacting agencies. If you want to get into construction, for instance, getting a CSCS card to get on a site, go for an agency. Look on the Google for a local agency. All the building sites need labourers. It's just a way of getting money and getting your foot in the door and getting on that chain. But never give up. Always keep applying on interviews. First impression, rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Really, I hope that helps everyone.